Dr. Mary Warren is a wellness expert, and I think that she's going to confirm something that I always felt was true, and it's based on the fact that I kind of feel it myself. So you get going along, you're trying to do your work during the day, and you're just falling asleep. You've been up since who knows what hour. Should you or should you not take a nap, and how long should that nap be? And if you do take the nap, is it good for you? Dr. Mary Warren, good morning.
Good morning.
So,
yes, naps are fantastic. It's a matter of when and how long you can actually nap.
Okay, all right. So I want to tell you what I always believed. And, I could be dead wrong. I always thought that putting on sunscreen was good for you. Now we're hearing maybe it isn't. So maybe I'm wrong. But your nap should be under 45 minutes. Is that true?
Well, there are a lot of thoughts about nap length and time and quality and what you're hoping to achieve from a nap. Again, this really depends. I mean, we're talking about naps during the day. And for a lot of people, trying to get a nap in during the day may or may not be realistic. So even a 15, 20-minute nap is better than no nap, right? Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's an article that was cited that was referenced when I was contacted for this, and it breaks naps down into 4 time segments. So 20-minute nap, 20 to 30-minute nap, 30 to 60-minute nap, and then 60 to 90-minute nap.
Oh, okay.
So what happens according to this article and
I like the latter.
They cite, pardon me?
Yeah, keep going.
Is that, the longer the nap, really the higher the executive functions are that you're able to achieve after napping.
Oh.
But even a 20-minute nap, according to this article, a 20-minute nap enhances memory, mental alertness, and motor learning skills. Hey, most of us would take any improvements with memory, mental alertness, and motor learning skills.
Yep. I find that there becomes those points in a day where I literally there's 2 types of naps that I need. There's the nap where I'm sitting there and I'm just dozing off, and I do a lot of work sitting down, computer work, so it's very easy to doze off. But then there's those days where I don't know what, maybe I just didn't get a good night's rest or whatever, but it is like I am just exhausted to the point where just walking upstairs is tiring, and I usually need a little bit of a longer nap when that occurs. Are there 2 different types of exhaustion? There's drowsiness or then just plain exhaustion?
That's a great question. There are all kinds of types of exhaustion. And as you just mentioned, yes, one is sleep deprivation, just sadly very, very common in our country because a lot of people don't get sufficient sleep. In fact, the statistics show us that 20% of American adults report not getting enough sleep or rest every day. And 40% of adults report falling asleep during the day without meaning to at least once a month.
Wow.
Which, yeah. So, I mean, between 50 and 70 million Americans have chronic ongoing sleep disorders and issues. So, of course, what's going to happen is you'll have different levels of exhaustion and need for sleep throughout the day. And sometimes it's just a matter of getting up from your desk, or if you don't have a variable height desk, it's a matter of just moving a little bit and getting yourself into different stimulation, standing maybe walking around a little bit. But yes, if you're exhausted, taking a nap is a great thing to do. Even if it's 15 or 20 minutes, fantastic. Okay.
I was just going to say, stretching sometimes is good for me. You said get up and walk around, but getting that blood flowing through your body does kind of wake you up a little bit. I'm a frequent napper, I do have to admit, like probably 3-4 times a week.
Or 7.
7 days a week.
I think napping, especially when you do a morning job like ours where you're up early. But can you explain to me a couple things? Number one, why is it that, let's say I'm driving and I am just dozing off, which is very dangerous.
Sure.
And all of a sudden a deer pops out and it shocks me into alertness. I could drive for another 3 hours. I'm not going to doze off. It's just almost like the adrenaline woke me up. Is that really what happens?
Well, that's exactly what happened. The adrenaline, or really more probably cortisol, but it could have also been epinephrine or norepinephrine. All of those are hormones that the adrenal glands produce, and that's in response to a fight or flight stimulus, which was the deer, right? Because, of course, there are very bad things that could happen from that encounter.
Yeah.
The opposite of that is rest and relax. And that's the parasympathetic. That's the rest and relax. That's the napping. That's the dozing. That's the meditation. And that was something that came to mind this morning as I was getting ready to get on the air with you folks, was that, for a lot of people, napping might not, now for you guys, it's like a total given because you're up so doggone early all the time. But for a lot of people, napping may not be that realistic. So even, guided meditation for 15 minutes or even maybe like a soundscape or, nice soothing music, and they know that they're going to put that on, and that's a 10 or 15-minute window, those can be really nice options to napping because it allows your body to get into that just rest and relax mode, which, again, is parasympathetic, opposite to sympathetic, opposite to fight or flight.
All right. Just one more thing, because I did mention...
Me too. I have one more, but you go.
I'm a frequent napper. So a lot of times in the afternoon, about 1, right after lunchtime, it'll be like an hour, hour and a half, I'll get to take a nap, right? And I know that's a long nap for a lot of people. But I feel it right after that lunchtime, whether I've eaten or not, that early afternoon, I'm like, wow, I need to lay down here and take a little break. So I go from sleeping at night to... By lunchtime, I have to take a nap for an hour and a half, but then I can never get to sleep at night. Why am I so tired early afternoon, but then nighttime rolls around, and I'm like, no, I can't go to bed till 1, sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning. Is there any thought on that, and does the nap play a role in that?
Well, yes. Oh, definitely. That has to do with your cortisol rhythms, which I just mentioned a moment ago. One of the hormones that our adrenal glands produce and secrete is cortisol, and that cortisol level, guys, should be highest in the morning because it's there to wake us up in the wee hours of the morning. And then throughout the day, cortisol levels should be ramping down like a downhill slide so that by bedtime, we're able to get into bed and go to sleep. And then during the wee hours of the morning, again, up it goes. So it sounds like you're in a little bit of an upside down or reverse.
You got a cycle. He's got a cycle going on. Yeah.
How do you change that? Is there a way to change that?
Right.
Don't nap for so long.
Well, the thing to do is to try to really, watch your caffeine intake. That's one for a lot of people.
Sure.
Because a lot of times having too much caffeine later in the day stimulates you and disallows you from getting to sleep at night. And the other part of it that a lot of people really don't think about, actually, guys, is exercise, because exercise is so good for our body in so many ways. Every time we're moving muscles, we're actually driving cortisol levels down and serotonin levels up. Serotonin is, of course, the feel-good hormone, a neurotransmitter, and cortisol is stress. So maybe even just a quick, walk around the block, or if you've got something where you are, a treadmill or elliptical machine or something you can get on for even 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, that's a great way to balance out. Yeah.
Are you going to cut us off? I know sometimes you have a strict time limit. Do I have time for one more question?
For me, you've got all the time in the world. I'm waiting for you guys to cut me off.
Because sometimes they just cut us right off, and I'll be in the middle of a question. 2 comments, maybe 1 comment and 1 question, whatever. So some days I don't have time for a nap. I cannot, and my naps tend to go 20 to 30 minutes. I try to keep them short, just enough to be able to get back up and go back to work. And oftentimes, though, I don't get that opportunity, so I resort to maybe a big cup of espresso, like 4 or 5 shots of espresso. Good or bad?
Not great. I'll tell you what I would suggest in place of that is green tea. Much more gentle. It's energizing, but not as stimulating as coffee or espresso.
Because instead of going around with the computer and typing and doing I'm usually like juggling the computer after that, throwing it around the room.
Right. Exactly, and other objects. But the other thing too is you might need a little bit of a snack, and I love raw nuts. You may need a little bit of protein, good fat, because oftentimes when our blood sugar level dips, guys, is when we really get sleepy. So sometimes even just a handful of raw nuts or, something that's got good protein and fat on board will help to level out your blood sugar levels, and it'll perk you up.
Yep.
Or, if you're at home and you can have, half a turkey burger or something that's got some, good, easy protein. Yeah.
That helps. Okay. I hope this isn't boring for people because I am so interested in this topic because it affects me every single day.
Yeah.
So my final question is, you say that a good nap will help in, let's see here, logical thinking? What was that? Can boost our brains and improve our problem-solving skills. Now, is that true also in men? Because my wife would say there's nothing that's going to improve my logic and my problem-solving skills. Is it different in men and women?
Well, sure, of course it is.
Yeah.
I mean, because we think differently, and absolutely. I mean, anytime we can decompress and recharge for just a few minutes, it allows our problem-solving skills and the way that we actually look at and address problems to improve. Because, I mean, you're going to address problems differently than I am, but if you're mentally fatigued, that goes down quantifiably, depending upon circumstance, right? So you want to be sharper. You want to be fresher. That's really the bottom line. And again, even on those days when you don't have the bandwidth, the time, the space for a nap, do a little block of music, ocean sounds or, maybe symphony or some kind of, nice soothing music. Yeah. There are tons of things out there.
There's nothing like working first thing in the morning because you are sharper. You are more creative, I think.
Absolutely.
That there's just something about whatever is being sent to your brain first thing in the morning. It is.
You're at the top level of the cortisol.
Yeah.
That's when it happens.
Pretty cool.
You are at the top levels of cortisol, and so that's a natural, normal cycle. And so we're always sharper in the morning.
Dr. Mary Warren, how do people your social media, anything like that, you want to plug here?
Well, Dr. Mary at road-warrior-wellness.com is my website, and I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm in clinical practice, and I do speak professionally. I don't spend a lot of time on social media, but I am accessible.
Well, you're better off being off social media, to be honest. So, all right, Mary, thank you, Dr. Mary Warren. Thanks for taking the time.
You bet.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know. For us, it's a big deal, right? We're up. I mean, he's up. You're probably up at 2 o'clock in the morning, right?
Well, 3:30, 3 o'clock.
Sure. 3:30, 4 o'clock is up time for us. So you get to 12 noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're sitting in front of a computer, and
but those short naps are hard, though.
They are hard to do.
For me, I got to do at least an hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah, I can't do the short naps.
Here's how it works for me. I put my head down. I'm out instantly. Instantly, I am gone. And I just set the alarm so that I have to get up in 20 to 30 minutes. So,
well, that's the thing is I never know how long it takes me to fall asleep. So, it's like, well, if I set the...
We'll do a 90-minuter. That's a big one.